So Donald Trump's cabinet. He's president-elect. He mentioned a lot of people in his acceptance speech. Rudy Giuliani, leaked by the Trump campaign before the election to NBC News, likely to be Attorney General. The head of the Justice Department. So that kind of injustice coming your way. Newt Gingrich, Secretary of State. Oh, the wars we're going to. Okay. And now, they mentioned as Lieutenant General Mike Flynn, who was a big supporter of his, as Defense Secretary. They're going to have to get an exception for that because he actually has not been out of the service for 7 years. You have to be out of the service for 7 years before you can serve as the civilian Secretary of Defense. But they could get an exception. They probably will. If not, he'll be National Security Advisor. So those are almost locked in, right? Interesting curveball, Reince Priebus, he was the only guy that he actually pulled up to the mic in a bizarre move that we've never seen before.
I think he wanted to make him say something nice about him. That's what that was.
He was talk about me.
Yeah.
Say nice things about me. This is my wedding.
Yeah.
Talk about me.
Yeah.
And Reince was like, what? Like, what's going on here? Next president of the United States, can I get back to my seat? So there's speculation that he's going to be chief of staff, which would be a way of reaching out to the Republican establishment. And Reince was a good, loyal soldier. So he becomes a made man. So he's going to get something, but it might be chief of staff. Okay. And Reince Priebus was the head of the RNC, so that seat is going to get vacated. The word out of Trump campaign is the person who's going to replace him as the head of the RNC, Corey Lewandowski, current CNN contributor. Yes, former campaign chief for Donald Trump. He's got to take care of his capos, right? And so he's going to bring back all of his lieutenants and put them in charge. Jeff Sessions, I don't know what role he's going to have, but he's a senator from Alabama.
Head goblin.
Certainly, they won't have any trouble putting another Republican into his seat in Alabama, so that's not an issue. So what is he going to get? I don't know, but buckle up. But he's going to get something, no question about it. Chris Christie. Chris Christie, whose top aides were just convicted, literally less than a week ago, is the head of his transition team in charge of picking people. The last people he picked were convicted this week, okay? So he's in charge of the transition team. Oh, the level of corruption they'll have in those picks. It'll break records, right? So if you don't know the history of Chris Christie, and it's not just about Bridgegate and all that stuff, and in his home state, he now has a popularity ranking of 21%. But he's in charge of picking the next president's staff, okay? That guy who's despised in his own state. And the way that he became a U.S. attorney in the first place, which is how he rose up and became a politician, is by being a bundler, organizing donors for George W. Bush. Chris Christie, oh, you think the donors are your friends? He was born in the donors. So that was his political birth, was through the bundling donors for George W. Bush, and then would get return favors, etc. That's Chris Christie. After the transition team, what's he going to be? Obviously, an important part of the administration, part of the cabinet. So you got that. Chris Christie gambled. He gambled, man. At the time, they thought he was crazy to back Trump and humiliate himself. Looking, behind him like a creep and then getting sent off on the plane. Off you go, right? Get in the plane, go.
No worries.
But it worked out. He's going to have an enormously important, he already has an enormously important job as the head of the transition team. He'll have a giant role in the Donald Trump administration. God help us all. Okay, and the list goes on. It doesn't get any better from there. So his top foreign policy advisor was John Bolton. What's John Bolton going to do? Are they going to put him back in the UN? He was George Bush's UN ambassador. Couldn't get confirmed. Bush put him in there anyway.
So we haven't mentioned the deal with Iran. What happens with that deal?
Oh my God.
Obamacare.
They're going to repeal it on day one.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, so, no.
The Iranian nuclear program could be restarted.
Look, guys, if they rip up that deal with Iran, which is what they've said over and over again, but I actually have some hope that they won't. John Bolton will push for it. Everybody will push to rip it up. But Trump might be like, yeah, I said it was the worst deal. We're going to renegotiate. And no, he'll rip it up because he's going to want to prove that he's a better negotiator. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. So.
This is why I'm here.
Yeah.
What about Rush Limbaugh? Where will he be in the cabinet?
But by the way, no, that's, it's a joke, but it's not, because Russian and Trump are great friends. Probably not, because he's too rich and comfortable in Palm Beach, etc. But Sean Hannity? So earlier somebody was joking about how Sean Hannity could be
Press
chief of staff.
secretary.
Oh, no, that's enormously possible.
Yeah,
Number two,
Anna,
chief of staff is not out of the question. People were
my
joking
God.
about it earlier. It's not out of the
For
question.
Rush Limbaugh?
No, for Sean Hannity.
Oh.
Yeah. So
For Sean Hannity?
yeah, yes.
How about
for Sean
Megyn
Hannity.
Kelly? Will she get a position?
No.
I'd say
He might
2/3 of the
broker.
month.
Roger Ailes.
Yeah. No, they had a falling out at that.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, it's a sad day for Roger Ailes. Now, we haven't even gotten to Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon says he's going to go back to Breitbart. This guy fomented the alt-right, etc. I mean, and in a cadre of deplorables, he's right up there. Oh, the power he's going to have and how they're going to run roughshod. I don't know how they're going to use it. I don't know if he's going to be in the government or outside the government. But you think Trump won't empower his media friends? By the way, he did that with the National Enquirer. He would plant stories in the National Enquirer nonstop and use the media that way. Now, wait till you see when he's got real power. That was just this goofball Donald Trump, right? So then we're not done yet. Roger Stone, Hatchet Man. He's got Nixon tattooed on his back, literally, okay? And so now they're going to let him run loose. Oh my God, God knows what position he's going to get, inside or outside, and the damage he's going to do. One of their biggest allies in the press, Alex Jones. Maybe he could be press secretary.
That'll be great. Maybe he
please
can
do that. Please do that.
Maybe he can do press conferences, naked.
You want the same old mainstream media stuff? Hell no! I hear you, brother. That's why we got a whole new show on the Young Turks called Aggressive Progressive. Members get the whole show. Do it now. tytnetwork.com/join.